Fitzsimmons and I just went to see A Quiet Place. If you like horror films, you should see this movie. If you like movies about creepy space aliens, you should see this movie. Yes. If you like movies about families going through hard times, you should see this movie. If you just like Emily Blunt's face, you should see this movie.
Yeah.
If you like good movies,
you should see this movie.
And if you haven't seen this movie, stop now and go.
Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. I have a different dance every time.
I like it. General premise, for those of you who have never watched a trailer, this film takes place in a...
I'm sorry, who've never watched a trailer. Like, yeah, any trailer ever.
They are all trailers for A Quiet Place. You just didn't know. This film takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where some sort of creature has invaded.
Yes, and it's definitely not from this planet.
Yeah. And said creature hunts by sound, so you have to be quiet. Which we won't be on this video. No. Although the entire world is very loud.
It's so loud. Like, I feel like I shouldn't be talking right now. And not just because we saw a movie, but just because everything was like...
It's gonna be okay.
You couldn't even, like, whisper that much. Just, like, sign language. And I can't even do sign language. I don't know. So I can say, like, I think this is please. And, like, thank you. And, like, food.
Yeah, that's about the extent.
Cat. Girl? Okay, I know random sign language.
Apparently.
And I'm sorry to anyone who actually signs if I was completely incorrect in all of that.
So there's a lot of signing in this. It's interesting, their daughter is deaf, and actually played by a deaf actress, the girl who was in Wonderland. And so that's really cool. Mm-hmm. And I know I read an interview with John Krasinski about it, where he talked about the fact that they definitely wanted to cast a deaf actress to play his deaf daughter, and I thought that was really neat. So it's a family surviving in this post-apocalyptic world where you have to be quiet, because if you make sound, creatures will hunt you. And I expected to be scared in this film, and I was a couple of times. There were a couple of jump scares, but it was a lot more of like the...
It was suspense. It was like this high anxiety kind of like sort of film, like with... Because you weren't sure what exactly was going to happen, and when the noise was made, you're like, when's it coming?
Yeah.
When's it coming? When is it coming?
That's true. But what I didn't expect was to, like, feel. I mean, this film, like, grabs you by the guts and twists hard. There is...
Literally from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the death of a child, like...
5
almost
minutes
at the beginning.
Yeah, it's like about 5 minutes in.
And it's not the only death.
Nope.
And this film really, really brings the emotion hard. And I think part of that is the fact that the film is silent. So I can't say how I'm feeling because there are no way for me to use words. So instead, it's very, very much body language, emotions, facial features, like, and they do such a good job.
And, like, not to make it seem, I don't know, facetious, but, like, the quiet moments of this already quiet movie are, like, super touching. Like, there's one scene where John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, who are married in real life.
Yeah, right? Oh, cute.
Yeah, but, like, there's one where they're just dancing and having a moment together, and he's, like, holding her stomach because she's pregnant. Main thing in this movie that's, like, blah. But, like, they're just having this quiet moment together where they're just kind of, like, dancing a little back and forth, and it's just, like,
How do you think that went down? Where he was like, hey, darling, listen, I want to make this movie, and I think that you should be in it. Also, it's going to be terribly dark, and people are going to die, and we have to play this broken family. And she was like, sounds great.
I don't know if it's a broken family. I would say it's a family going through rough times. Because a broken family, to me, dictates that they're not
that's
together.
true. A struggling family?
A family that's literally dealing with death every day, practically. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, maybe she was just like, cool, sounds great.
I think she probably read the script and was like, this I want to do because it's going to be amazing. And it was amazing. There are a few things, obviously, that we felt strongly about. The emotion in this film was great. The acting was phenomenal, especially from the two kids. I thought that they did a great job.
Yeah, it was amazing.
For young little kids. And that baby.
Straight, yeah, spoiler, she has a baby because she's pregnant. But yeah, that baby, great acting.
Really, really good acting there. Really good at being a baby. I also really liked the design of the alien creatures. I've seen like carnival creatures like this. So people sometimes do this creature at Halloween events where you are on short stilts and then you put long stilts on your arms and you sort of walk. And that's how they move, except they maybe have more than 4 limbs.
I think they're almost bipedal except for when they're running. Because when you see it going down the stairs and going upstairs, it uses its like claw-like, like, because it looks it's almost similar concept to like maybe like how a gorilla kind of runs if you like walk on your knuckles, but if your knuckles and then your fingers are way long and also scary knife things.
But it was really creepy, and it has this head that like is like
I just realized what the head reminded me of. The Demogorgons.
Yes, it is sort of like a Demogorgon. Also, it just really reminds me of this lamp that they sell at IKEA. So, at IKEA, they sell this circular lamp that, like, is a spear, and then when you pull the string, it pops out like this, and that's exactly what their heads are like. Where, like, all of these different pieces sort of pop apart.
The creature creator was influenced by IKEA and the Demogorgon. But, like, they have, I don't know if they have 1 or 2 ears, because it only seemed that they were panned to one side of the creature's head, or maybe
I'm guessing they have 2 ears.
Or they maybe just kept using that one shot. Either way. But, like, their head kind of does the splitty-openy thing, and then you see it, like, listening to things through this, like, intense ear.
And it makes a clicking noise that...
Which is in every weird alien. No, like, this is one of my, like, things that is just a random moment. Like, if you've seen Signs, they have that, like, clicky, click, click, click noise that they do. And, like, it's been in, I feel like, a bunch of other alien-y movies, too. Yeah, and they have this as well. And then, so it's click, 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 and then whatever. And, I mean, I can probably understand why it's click, 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 click.
Because it's creepy.
No, and they probably use echolocation to move, because they can't see well. So, like, I didn't see eyes, like, true eyes on any of them. So more than likely, they use echolocation, and that's why it's clicking. But still, it's the same clicking noise.
Yeah, and that clicking is not like... It's like a... Like that sound that sometimes you can make if you're like...
Yeah, but that's
but
also...
like,
yeah.
Really, really...
This is why I think it's actually... Nope, I've figured it out. They use echolocation to move, because it's also like the weird, like, dolphin-y noise that you hear sometimes when people are listening under the ocean. Well, good job, writers. Good job. Okay.
But the design was really cool, and I thought that those aliens were really effective. There were a few things that we had a little bit of trouble with. One, they eventually figure out how to defeat the alien in the best in scene ever.
Yes, it's so good.
The daughter uses her hearing aid to...
I think she has a cochlear implant, technically.
But she uses the hearing aid, not the implant.
Well, it's
she
all
uses the
connected
outside
together.
part.
Yeah.
To, like, send a high-pitched sound out through this radio that they have, and it basically, like, makes the thing's head explode. But it doesn't quite kill it, and then her mom, Emily Blunt, shoots it with a shotgun, and then the end shot is all of these other ones from around the area running towards them, and she just picks up the microphone, and Emily cocks the gun, that's it, and you're like, they are off, they're gonna save the world single-handedly. Our problem was, how come they're gonna save the world single-handedly? It's been like a year of this and no one else has figured out this whole high-pitched noise thing.
I feel like, and now that I was just thinking about it, nope, I just lost it. But no, like when the head explodey thing happens, like it makes, so the head with it peeling open, they're covered, and you might be wondering why like we didn't just like nuke them or something, because that's generally the weird answer. But they have this like body armor that seems to be resistant to actual like gun bullets or anything like that. So I'm sure like the government, when they could, tried some fancy weapons, but it didn't do anything. So like when their head opens up, that explodes, like that exposes the fleshy bits, and so you see it when it gets disabled, and you're like, oh, it's dead, awesome. But then like it gets back up again, but its head is still like open, so that's why she's able to like murder it. But yeah, why didn't somebody go, wait, they're really sensitive to sound, like animals, other animals we're aware of, like dogs and cats and other things. And you know what really drives them nuts? High-pitched whistles.
Yeah, also, like, just noise pollution in general. Like, why didn't you just turn on all of the noise all the time, and then it would be hard for them to track you in the midst of the million other things. Like, I can just imagine one of these creatures coming into Universal where, like, there's music going all the time and they're just like, where?
Yeah.
Like,
What you don't know is Orlando's safe.
true.
Actually, no, when I, like, one of the newspapers, because they don't really explain anything, that's not necessarily an issue I have, because that's not the point.
I really liked that, actually.
Yeah, but, like, one of them is, like, Shanghai, devastated, and I'm like, how? There's so much noise in Shanghai. Like, are these intelligent enough creatures, like, because you don't really understand if they're smart so they, like, did anything, but, like, are they intelligent enough creatures to have wiped out the big cities so they get rid of the really high-pitched noises first, or was it just like, oh, no one can agree on anything, so bye, Shanghai?
Yeah, but
like,
you know what they didn't get rid of first? Raccoons. Because
Yeah.
there were still raccoons more than a year later.
Yes. And birds. There's lots of birds, and I'm guessing,
Like, birds I'm willing to pass.
Yeah.
They flew out of the way. These things maybe can't jump. The only other thing that bothered me is that at some point the kids jump into a corn silo and then immediately sink, as if corn and quicksand are the same thing. As a girl who grew up on a farm and has been with friends, first off, you should never play in a corn silo, okay? Because it is very dangerous, because if they turn on the auger, that's it. Goodbye.
It's worse than quicksand.
If it's not on, and this hasn't been on in years, and has had corn sitting in it that no one's moved in years, then it's like sand on the beach. And you don't just into sand on the beach. But I understood it for dramatic effect.
Yes.
I'm giving this movie 5 creepy aliens out of 5 creepy aliens.
I am also going to give this 5 creepy aliens out of 5 creepy aliens as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So go see this film and then reflect on how much noise you make in your everyday life.
And how much you love your family.
And I'll see you tomorrow.